You're listening to the Future Tech Health Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Until I reached age 40, I never realized the obvious, that we all have medical issues, or we at least have a family member or close relation that had, has, or will have them in the future. Medicine and biological systems are the final frontier. Until we've conquered death, figured out how life began, cured cancer, and understood our purpose in the universe, there's a heck of a lot to talk about when it comes to our health. Future Tech Health means I'll be covering futuristic topics that are actually already in clinical trials, or even starting to appear on shelves or by prescription, or available for your own use. We dive deep into stem cells, CRISPR-Cas9, the science of sleep, epigenetics, medical testing, cancer, ketogenic diets, stem cells, aging, regenerative medicine, and more. My goal for you, the listener, is to learn from these podcasts. You may very well learn something that may change the course of your life for the better, steer you towards a new career, or give you insight into addressing a serious medical problem. Remember, however, this podcast and its content is informational in nature only. No medical, tax, legal, financial, or psychological advice is being given. If you enjoyed the podcast, please listen, subscribe, like, and share it with friends. Thank you. Hello, this is Richard Jacobs with the Future Tech and Future Tech Health podcast, and I have Hugo Mercier. He's the CEO of Dreem.com. Website is Dreem. So Hugo, thanks for coming. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, so tell me about Dreem. What's the premise of the app or the website?
Yes, so Dreem is a comprehensive solution that addresses bad sleep. It's composed by a headband to wear at night. So the headband is recording the brain activity and the physiological activity from your body. So your heart rate, your breathing frequency, your movements at night. And it's not only measuring, but it's also supporting you at night. So at the very beginning of the night, the headband is going to play sounds. We have different kind of exercise inspired from neurofeedback and biofeedback to help you relax and fall asleep faster. So you have different kind of exercise, and they are all computed in real time based on what is happening in your body or your brain. So when you fall asleep after you're going into sleep, and then you wake up in the morning, and when you wake up in the morning, all your data is transferred to your phone. And then you have the Dreem app, and inside the Dreem app, you will get personalized advice. And we have also implemented a sleep restructuring program that we have developed with cognitive behavioral therapy experts that is going to help you restructure completely your sleep between 6 to 8 weeks. And so what we see from our users is by using Dreams like 2-3 months, they are really able to significantly reduce the time to fall asleep. They are reducing the awakenings at night, and they are reducing the early awakenings in the morning. So basically, Dreem is really has brought everything together. When I started the company, the main hypothesis was if we want to make a sleep solution that is efficient, we need first to get the measurement and the analysis of sleep right. Because the traditional sleep tracker that you get are not really accurate when it comes to measuring sleep. And so we started from the gold standard. So the equipment, the medical equipment that you get in the sleep center, which is called a polysomnograph. It's a very expensive equipment, very constraining. You have 30-40 electrodes. You need experts to put that on your head. You need a lot of analysis in the morning. And so we have completely disrupted this device, and we have turned it into a comfortable, lightweight headband that you can wear at home, very easy to use.
Okay, so what's measured when you do a polysomnogram versus with your headband? What are you measuring that it can do? And what's still missing that maybe it's not practical to do?
So you get different kind of data with a polysomnograph. You get the heart rate, you get the oxygen level in your blood, you get your breathing frequency, your movement, your brain activity, your muscular activity. And so basically Dreem with less headbands, with less sensors is actually able to get approximately the same level of information. So we have sensors to measure the heart rate, the breathing frequency, the movement, and the brain activity. So we have done a study which is going to be published really soon. And what we see is Dreem headband is correlating with medical equipment almost perfectly. So it's on average 80%. So if you put like the Dreem data and the data from a polysomnograph, you find an 80% correlation. And then we have tested the Dreem algorithm. So we have tested Dreem algorithm against 5 sleep experts and sleep doctors. So the sleep doctors were working on the data from the polysomnograph, and the Dreem headband was working automatically on the data from the Dreem band. And so what we see is actually we are number 2 against the five experts. So it means that Dreem is also as accurate as a doctor and expert to analyze your sleep.
Oh, wow. So what are some of the things that the Dreem headband analyzes, and what do they mean? So let's say your brain waves or your respiration. I mean, go through it. What does it measure, and what do the things mean?
So the Dreem headband is measuring actually all these activities. So the brain activity, the heart rate, the breathing frequency, and the movement. But the thing is, we have made it comfortable and small. So a polysomnograph costs between $30,000 and $40,000. You need 40 electrodes on your head, which are glued to your head by people. It's a 1-hour setup. It's really comfortable. And at the end of the night, you get approximately a 1-hour time to analyze all the data coming from the sensors. And with Dreem, it weighs only like 180 grams. You have many less sensors. You just put it on your head and it works. You have dry sensors, so you don't need to, glue the sensors on your head. You can reuse it many times. And so the analysis is made actually completely automatically. So so we have completely disrupted that. We started with this laboratory equipment and we made that available at home. You don't need any experts. Everything is completed in real time, and you get the same level of accuracy in the analysis and the measurement.
Well, I could see just by repeating the measurements on yourself over a whole bunch of nights instead of just once, and being in your own bed, in your own house, you'd probably get a lot more data and a lot more interesting data than just doing it once, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a very important element. So sleep science is a pretty recent domain. The first polysomnograph, so the first sleep study was around 1965. So it's a pretty recent science. And so we have made many learnings in research, but the complex thing is if you want to make a sleep study, it's really expensive. So because of the cost of the equipment, because of the expert that you need to analyze all the information manually, on average, one night for one person in a sleep center costs $1,000. So if you want to make a study that scale, let's say 100 nights, it's going to cost 100,000 nights. If you want to do 1,000 nights, it will cost $1 million. And so what is pretty interesting with Dreem is the ability of scaling remote studies. So, with Dreem, you get a cheap but very efficient way to analyze constantly sleep. And so what we are learning from the data, so this is from, a research perspective. So we have created a research program, which is the largest remote-based study and research platform in the history. And we have also collected one of the largest sleep database in history. We have more than 800,000 nights today in our database. But this is for the research aspect. For the consumer and the user, the great thing about sleep and having the headband on is to be able to personalize what we do for the user, because everyone's sleep is different. So if you want to have a solution that works for someone, you need personalization. You need an accurate profiling of users. You need personalization in the delivery of features because you will understand what will work, what won't work. And the same for cognitive behavioral therapy. It works better if you personalize it. And so from a consumer perspective, it's a great opportunity because you can at least have a very accurate understanding of your sleep, very accurate understanding of your sleep profile, and a really personalized, customized, and tailored, journey with the exercise that we propose.
So what are some examples of things that the machine reads, and what are some of your users using it for? How are they using it?
So we have a lot of insomniac. So people that have trouble falling asleep, waking up at night many times, waking up too early in the morning. They have been trying many things. They have been trying sleeping pills, and most of them hate using sleeping pills because of the side effects of using sleeping pills. A lot of them have tried alternative methods. They have bought sleep trackers, but they found that useless because it's just going to give them advice and not really help them to completely solve their sleep problem. And so the way they use it first, like during the 10 first night, they get a very accurate measurement of their sleep. It's like, spending 10 nights in a row in a sleep center and get your result analyzed by a sleep center and a sleep expert. So they get that, and they are very happy at the very beginning because they get a true, accurate understanding on how they sleep. Because most of the time, you think you're sleeping that way, and that's not, the right way. So this is the first thing why they get Dreem. Second element is about supporting them at night. So if you're insomniac and you have big trouble falling asleep, most of the time, you are in a psychological state where when you go to bed, it's really impossible to sleep because you're thinking about the fact that you're not able to sleep. And it's just like a vicious cycle from which it's really hard to get out. And so the feature that we propose, the audio programs at the beginning of the night, in the morning or during the day, are really useful to users because it can really help them right away relieve their pain, relax, and fall asleep faster. So getting this kind of support through the night is something that users are really happy with because it gets like really good results on, relieving their pain. And finally, the third element is about restructuring completely their sleep. If you take someone that hasn't been able to sleep for 10, 15 years, just using the relaxation training is not going to completely solve the problem. Because behind insomnia, you have psychological barriers, and you need to restructure these understanding on your sleep and your sleep. And so we have developed a sleep restructuring program with CBT experts and sleep doctors in order to provide like very accurate advice. And so they learn about their sleep, they learn about their habits, but they have also exercise, they have to-do lists, they have quality video content. It's almost like getting, an appointment once per week, every week, with a professional expert looking at your data and advising you exactly what to do in that case. And so for the ones that have let's say the worst problems regarding sleep, it's something really useful because they feel really supported and they can completely restructure their sleep. So this is like this holistic approach, like this all-in-one approach is pretty unique. You can't find that in another product. And everything is based on, ideas that have been tested in sleep science, clinical research. So we have we really took like all the best that we have found in scientific literature and put that into a product that is available to everyone in a very nice and easy experience for the user.
Well, what about people that snore, or they've been told they snore, or they think they have sleep apnea? I know the device may or may not be approved for that, but what happens there? Do people use the device to say, hey, you should probably go get a sleep study because it looks like you may have apnea, but you got to check, or how does it work in that regard?
So this is definitely something that we want to propose to our users. We are discussing right now with regulatory bodies and the FDA to see like what would be the best way of doing that. But definitely, and we're going to have a publication on that as well, the headband is able to detect sleep apnea with a great accuracy. And so, again, like the goal of Dreem, even in the midterm or long term, won't be to do like diagnosis by itself. But at least if we can warn people that we detect and send them to a sleep center to get, equipped properly, it would be great. Today, you have 85 of people suffering from apnea that they don't know, that they are not diagnosed and they don't know they have sleep apnea. Simply because the whole medical ecosystem is quite complex and is not answering the need of the population. Today, with the current number of sleep centers that we have in the US, it would take 88 years and more than $80 billion to get everyone checked for apnea, simply because we do not have enough resources and simply because like the equipment are really costly. And so the idea of Dreem is we don't see the technology as, opposed to sleep centers or to disrupt sleep centers or to disrupt like sleep doctors, but it could be an incredible leverage to sort people, do pre-checks, pre-diagnosis, and then send the right person to the right center. Because if the centers are saturated, it's because you have too many like ongoing and ongoing demand, and a lot of them are not qualified. So if Dreem could help on warning people, we know that something is not clear, you should go to a sleep center. Maybe it could solve somehow this problem. So definitely this is something which is really interesting, and I think it's a big problem that we need to solve, and we have developments going that way.
What are you able to do in the short term? Are you able to set alarms or people to set notifications to see at least, it looks like you may have stopped breathing 10 times at night, or you shifted around 50 times? I mean, in addition to a Fitbit, it sounds like your system, you can see a whole lot more data. So what are some other parameters that you can see and maybe, at least talk to a doctor about?
So I can't go specifically into what we can display because, again, we are working on it right now. But definitely, as we have access to breathing frequency, we have access to the oxygen level in the blood, we have access to movement, we have access to EEG. So again, we can detect problem in the breathing elements, in the breathing events, and we can also probably detect the level of seriousness of these events, because again, you do not have only one type of apnea, but you have different level of gravity in the apnea, and so Dreem could go much further and be much more accurate. So definitely a sleep tracker, the best of the sleep tracker, would get very good measurement on movement and a good measurement on the oxygen level in the blood. But it's not enough if you want to go further in evaluating the type of apnea that you have. So if you really want to help people, and if you want to be really able to redirect them towards sleep centers, the solution needs to be highly accurate in how it detects apnea. And I think we have a unique positioning for that. I can't go into the detail of what we'll be doing, but definitely we have developments in that area.
Okay, and the Dreem product's available commercially right now. You can go to the website or go to Amazon and buy it?
So the product is going to be, available pretty soon on the website. We are distributing through our website, Dreem.com.
Okay. When do you think it'll be available? In the next quarter, or what's your estimate?
So it's going to be available in the next month or so, because we are going through a regulatory process with the FDA. The product is going to be FDA registered as a Class 2 medical device. So that's why it's taking more time than in the rest of the world. But as soon as it's ready, it's going to be available for orders online at Dreem.com.
That's excellent. So what's your goal? What would you love to have happen over the next year or so with the device?
We have, I think we have a unique positioning to not only solve insomnia. So first of all, solving chronic insomnia would be huge, because today you either have adaptive treatment like cognitive behavioral therapy with face-to-face experts, but you don't have enough experts to cover the needs of everyone, and it's too expensive for society. So at the end, you have only 1 out of 10,000 insomniacs that get cognitive behavioral therapy. And on the other side, you have widely available solutions, but which are not efficient in treating insomnia. It could be pills, it could be sleep trackers, it could be OTC products. And so the problem is there. So what we want to do, what we want to achieve as a first step with Dreem is really to bring at scale an efficient treatment, an efficient solution to chronic insomnia. So this will be the goal for the company. And when I say solution or treatment, it's because we are also looking at, regulatory processes as well, because we have good efficiencies. We want to show the world we have good efficiency. And in parallel, I think we have also a unique technology, which is the hardware, which offers lab quality monitoring of physiological data at home. And it could potentially help solve the problem end to end, not only on the treatment of insomnia, but maybe the diagnosis and maybe the monitoring of data afterwards. And so we have multiple areas of application that we are investigating right now. And I think that, it's even a wider opportunity to solve problems at scale. So this is what we'll be working on the midterm and the longer term.
Well, very good. So the best place for people to find out more is to go to Dreem.com, Dreem.com, and any other ways to contact the company or you?
Yeah, Dreem.com, and you will get everything. You have a chat, you have emails, you can contact us on Facebook as well. Yeah, do not hesitate to send us an email or chat with us.
Well, very good. Well, Hugo, thanks for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it.
That's great. Thanks a lot. Bye.
You're listening to the Future Tech Health Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Until I reached age 40, I never realized the obvious, that we all have medical issues, or we at least have a family member or close relation that has, or will have them in the future. Medicine and biological systems are the final frontier. Until we've conquered death, figured out how life began, cured cancer, and understood our purpose in the universe, there's a heck of a lot to talk about when it comes to our health. Future Tech Health means I'll be covering futuristic topics that are actually already in clinical trials, or even starting to appear on shelves or by prescription, or available for your own use. We dive deep into stem cells, CRISPR-Cas9, the science of sleep, epigenetics, medical testing, cancer, ketogenic diets, stem cells, aging, regenerative medicine, and more. My goal for you, the listener, is to learn from these podcasts. You may very well learn something that may change the course of your life for the better, steer you towards a new career, or give you insight into addressing a serious medical problem. Remember, however, this podcast and its content is informational in nature only. No medical, tax, legal, financial, or psychological advice is being given. If you enjoy the podcast, please listen, subscribe, like, and share it with friends. Thank you.